All right, everybody. Greetings and salutations one more time. It's Drew coming back at you again for the midweek catch up, aka the Wednesday Wagwan. What's going on, people? Hope everybody's good out there in the viewing land and listening land. All right, we're back tonight again, just talking about it. What's going on in the news cycle that makes you just want to shake your head and say, yeah, okay, that really happened. Yeah. Tonight's topic, I'm going to just use something called suspect remains at large. This is a typical line that we hear every time you turn on the news. Seems like pretty much every day you hear that phrase, suspect remains at large. Yeah, and unfortunately, when they're at large, that means that they're where we are, with a common man, the common citizen, the working individual, the innocent bystander, you name it. That's where they are when they're at large. All right, we're going to talk about it tonight. We're going to talk about it tonight. Midweek catch up. All right, let's get into it. All right, where would I start now? All right, if y'all remember, you're in the Ontario area, T dot, the Brampton, Caledon, wherever you've heard about it, you watch the news. It was just a few months ago, around November, November 20th to be exact, in Caledon, triple shooting in a house, literally blocks from where I live. A couple got killed in their home. Another person injured and went to the hospital. And I believe, yes, they survived. When I was reading the headlines and it said wrong place, wrong time. Imagine being in your house and that's the wrong place and at the wrong time. But anyway, this is what happened just a few months ago. And at the beginning of this year, 2024, the update was still no arrest. And of course, the suspect or suspects still remain at large. Hmm. Okay. That was the shooting in Caledon. Today, or actually yesterday, as this will air on the Wednesday. But yesterday, yes, on Tuesday, they come out with this report and an update on another horrific incident that we heard about in the news cycle. And this happened on a beach that a lot of people frequent, a place called Cherry Beach, where they found two thighs. Yes, parts of somebody's anatomy, folks. The police report that they found two human thighs and they were found on October 9th at Cherry Beach. And fast forward a few weeks later, October 30th, police doing a patrol and they find a torso of a human body, and it was only because of DNA that matches the torso to the two thighs. The only identifying thing they could make out on the torso was a chain, but no tattoos, no distinguishing marks, and yet to understand why this happened or know who this individual is, but it was a male victim. Person had a family, probably worked somewhere, and the total disregard for someone's life and the the indignity. No moral fiber in a person like this to dismember somebody and just discard them like piece of waste. And of course, till this day, I don't even think there's even a description of a suspect or suspects. This happened somewhere. Can't even imagine it. This is something straight out of the movies. I keep saying that, but I got to stop that now because obviously it's playing out in real life. And real life, I guess, actually, or TVs or movies only mimic what is happening in life. So it's reality, folks. But that's what's happening. And suspects remain at large. Hope there's some closure in that case. I was just going to work this week, beginning of this week. And I turned on the news as I normally do every morning before I go to work. And of course, what I see, a place that I drive to on my runs every other week. And they said that a body was found in this waste management area. And that was crazy to me. A place that I always go to, and to know that a dead body was turned up there. And again, we don't know where this body came from, but another suspect at large. Yeah, we're talking about that tonight. That phrase that we hear so often, suspect remains at large. Yeah, that's the Wednesday Walk One today, and it isn't finished yet. That's just 2 or 3 I went through. There's a laundry list of it, but folks, I'm just gonna just go over some of the things that have been making headlines for the last little while recently. Another one that made the news cycle, a place I'm familiar with, used to frequent, used to be out there in the Driftwood, Jane and Finch area, Shoreham. But this one stuck out because this happened in the North York area in a bus shed. People waiting on buses to go somewhere. And here we found out that 2 men were shot in North York, and one was fatally shot. A man that came up from Africa to make a better life for himself and his family, his wife, and 4 children. And he was gunned down at a bus stop. They have a picture of this suspect. Can't make out his face because, he's got a mask on and whatnot. But Allegedly, this person took this man's life. And all the testimonies that I've heard from his friends and family, this man was not affiliated with any gang. He just came up and was just a worker. And I don't know what happened. Don't know if there was an altercation, which does not even give the right to take someone's life, as I've often said. But nonetheless, there's no one to take account for that action, and the suspect remains at large. And the police have said that the other shooting, they allege, has been done by the or committed by the same suspect that remains at large, that remains in our community somewhere. And is considered armed and dangerous, for he took a deadly weapon and a gun and took one life, and for whatever reason he shot another young man that was on his way to, I believe, a volleyball game or a practice. A young man, going about his way. Again, not gang affiliated. Just it seemed like it was just random. It had me wondering what is happening here now. Like, I'm not even going to mental illness. I'm tired of going there. I'm gonna put something out there. Could it be? And I don't even want to put it out there, but my mind runs wild. I mean, the fact that my mind is even can fathom something like this and say, is someone out there just practicing? Is someone out there just going through some form of initiation? Why you just go into an area and take an innocent life? Like, the devil is on this person, obviously. There's just evil in the world, people. And we can't just put everything to mental illness. I understand, yeah, you gotta be out to lunch. Mentally, probably, yes. But I believe a lot of these people actually have their wits about them. But they're somewhat possessed, or they have been led to do some evil. And we're in a world where it's not all carnal, people. So I'm not gonna get preachy, but we know that there's spiritual wickedness in the world. For some of the things that we see, like someone dismembering a body and still walking around, somebody um taking life, shooting somebody in the face. This person going to volleyball was shot in the face. This person wasn't shot in the foot. This person wasn't shot in the hand, or shot at. If it was an initiation thing, or if it was just random. This person was shot in the face, and this other person was shot wherever, and succumbed to his injuries and died. So we have a murderer on the street driving around in different areas and towns, and could have been walking right past us because they remain at large. Yeah, that's what's happening in our city and in our regions. We have suspects walking around beside us, and we don't even know it, but they remain at large. Okay. And if you thought that was all and that was bad enough, then here comes another news cycle just almost exactly a week ago. Turn on the news and I hear 76-year-old woman getting shot in the face. And not once, but several times. What makes any person look at an elderly person, a woman that, as a man, because it was a man, it was a male suspect who did this. And I believe it was a pellet gun they allege did the damage. And thank God she did not lose her eyesight. Apparently, she had on glasses, and that saved her eyes. But when the paramedics came, they rushed her to the hospital and deemed that it was not life threatening injuries that she had. Thank God. Good news is this suspect, a week later or days later, was tracked down and he's in custody. Thank God. So at least with this title, that suspect we know is not no longer at large. He's not among us in the sense of physically walking around free. He's in captivity right now. Captivity. Yes, he's held right now, waiting, and we don't know how long because the system just seems to be not working in the favor of the innocent. But that's the good one I can say there that a week later, days later, now we're in a week, I'm reporting on this 76-year-old woman who got shot in the face out in Scarborough. She gonna make it. This was unprovoked. So this was just random again. What's happening here? You see what I'm saying? So if we were saying with the North York shootings, and we said, okay, there was a young man and the other guy he looks like, if there was an altercation, he would have probably, tried to defend himself or something. But let's say that wasn't the case, because at first they wanted to call it gang affiliation, and then they quickly denounced that and say, no, that actually wasn't the case. Both individuals were good, upstanding citizens. And that's another thing. We gotta get all the facts first before we were quick to rush and deem all these things as gang affiliated or put them in a category that they shouldn't be in. There's just evil in the world. There's some sick people out there that the enemy, the devil, yes, I'm gonna say it for all those who don't believe, yeah, God is real, but the devil and his cronies are real too. There's some genuine evil that is plaguing the world today and always has been. It just seems to be in my time. I'm looking now and seeing this a lot more frequent. We got to get on our knees and start to pray some more. We got to start to pray and cover our children. We got to start more and more to speak vocally about the evil in the world. We have so much channels and so much mediums and so much forms and so much platforms that we can talk about mental illnesses, but I don't see us talking too much about the evil that's in the world, that's inside mankind's heart, and how we can say some things so passively and use some words that become so meaningless after a while. It's like love. I love cake. I love the gym. I love my car. love becomes almost like a useless word or just an interchangeable word. And we're beginning to use things like mental illnesses and sicknesses and deficiencies and all these other things, but we're not throwing out the word there. Yes, evil is in the world, and we need God. We need prayer. We need the churches. We need community members. We need parents. We need teachers. We need people to say, listen, evil is evil, good is good, good over evil, and good will conquer evil. And let's put some more good into the world. Let's shut down the hate, and let's examine why and how we can stop the hate before it progresses into something like a bigger monster that some of these individuals obviously cannot control. And I'm just rambling there because I was just speaking as I felt it there. So forgive me on that, but actually don't forgive me if you whatever. That's just the real coming off right there. That's what I believe, and the evidence is out there as I'm reporting tonight. And this is not fiction, this is real happening in our neighborhoods. Wow, yes. And there's more things have been happening. Stabbings. One out of the two suspects caught, police officers getting assaulted and stabbed, and one of the out of the two suspects caught, but there's still somebody at large. I'm going to finish tonight by just saying that it's hard to fully have peace of mind when you have a vicious cycle happening. You have crimes that are violent, and violent individuals are committing these crimes right beside your place of residence, your neighborhood, your park, your local communities, your walkways. And while that's happening, and knowing that these violent criminals are still lurking around you in plain sight, and we may not know who they are, and we may not know who is walking right past us, right beside us, right around us. That's why I always say be sober, be vigilant, know your surroundings, look around. Don't want you to be paranoid, but we have to be aware that evil is in the world, and if these things can happen just randomly, you got to get covered, man. Well, I'm sending out a prayer for everybody that's hearing this tonight, that God will just cover you, that these acts of violence will not meet your dwelling place. It may not come near you, and that we can all find a way to distribute some love into the world and to the people around us. Be less confrontational, be less combative, be more, as my grandmother would say, slow to speak and swift to listen, because it's in your listening where you're going to understand or see some things that you can avoid. You can see the hurt in somebody and probably change your direction by just even listening and speaking and being able to encourage and talk them off of that ledge, or talk them from that path they're about to go down. Maybe some of these individuals just needed to be shown some love, or shown uh, a place, or shown some kind of understanding that, you know what, I want to hear your story, and I want to give you another way out. Suspect remain at large. Yeah, I'd love to hear that phrase not used so often, but it seems like it's an everyday occurrence on the news that we listen to and in the communities that we live in. I'm in Ontario, Canada, and for the most part, I would say that it's a safe country, it's a safe place. But while there's safety, but when you think there's peace and safety, sometimes there's sudden destruction. So remain vigilant, stay on your knees, and that means just looking above to who's the author and the finisher of this world. Well, that's it for me tonight as I sign off for the Wednesday Wagwan, the midweek catch up. It's been kind of gloomy, kind of rough, but that's where we are. Spread the love, people, spread the love so we can stop hearing suspects remain at large. Spread the love. Until we catch up again, y'all have a good night. Peace and one love. Until we catch up again for the Wednesday Wagwan. This is Drew signing off. Everybody have a wonderful night. God bless.